Hi, this is Trinisha Cottrell, and today I wanted to do a video on protecting your spirit. So I know you're probably wondering what made you want to do a video on protecting your spirit. I always say like I don't know what I was about to say, but but I was listening to a sermon earlier today, and it talked about like protecting your peace and allowing certain things in your life to not disturb your spirit. And in order to do that, the things that you had to do that you needed to work on. And I was walking while I listened to the sermon, so I didn't get a chance to write down all the notes that I really wanted to pull from it, but I felt like it was so important to look at it within that scope because for me, I've heard protect your peace, and I've heard that you want to make sure that you're living right and you're doing the best that you can, and you want to make sure that you are being protective of all the things in your life. You want to make sure you're purpose filled. You want to make sure that you are guarding your heart at all costs, like the Bible says. You are making sure that you don't have things disturbing your spirit. And I know that, but when I think it was Pastor Jerry Flowers, and I know people will probably Google it now, but if you listen, and I'm not trying to like promote another person, but I do want to give I want to give kudos or give recognition when it's necessary, and I don't want to make it seem like this is my idea. Like it's not my idea. It's information that I pull from different things that I'm learning. Like I might read a book and something may click to me or something may inspire me or make me feel like, "Oh my gosh, I never thought of it that way." And it'll make me feel like maybe other people need to know this. Or like even today when I'm listening to the sermon and he talked about protecting your peace, and he also talked about ways that you can protect your heart and your soul and your spirit and all of these different things. And I thought about the thing that really stood out to me was protecting your spirit, because we know that we have to guard our heart at all costs. We know that we need to have a good circle of people around us to make sure that we are motivated, that they are our A team, that they are encouraging, that they are people who tell us the truth from a good from a good point, from a good perspective, and not just from a selfish place, from a good place, and not just a selfish place or a place of hate or someone who wants to see you fail. But this is all people who want to see you succeed and achieve things in your life. I don't know what's going on with me today. And so as I sat there listening to the service, the pastor said something like, you you are so busy choosing someone based on their appearance. And I know it was really like shots fired for real, because I was like, like, oh, okay, this is how we coming at me today. Okay, I need to do the work, so I need to acknowledge it because because this is what I needed to hear, obviously. And so he was like, we're so busy looking at what the other person looks like and making sure that they satisfy our flesh, our lusts, making sure, and I'm not saying this is just me, but when you're looking at someone, usually it's from attraction, usually it's from lust or something like that. And that's why I felt it necessary to explain that within this video and within this sentence, or me just condensing the message into a summary. And so so he was saying, instead of worrying about how the words that they're saying penetrate your mind and things like that. And I mean, he kind of said it in that way, but he didn't mean in a way of making you grow and learn more. He meant more in a satisfying way. Like, oh, he's telling me that all of the things that I want to hear. So mentally it's making you feel like it's right because you're not hearing anything that you don't want to hear, or it makes you feel like you want that person just because of you being attracted to them physically, or you checked off this list of characteristic traits that you wanted in a person, or appearance traits that you wanted in a person, like this color eye, or gorgeous eyes, or caramel complexion, or you know six pack, or whatever your preference was. And he said, and that led you to someone who was never God ordained. or someone who was never intended for you in the first place. And your spirit was so disrupted. You just felt like you were so stressed. You couldn't understand. That's what it was. Protect your peace from stress or something like that is the name of the message. And so he said that you are the one who is making yourself stressed out because you're allowing things in your life that are not supposed to be there in the first place. And if you had chose based on spirit instead of looks, then you would have known that this person was incompatible and this person was disturbing your spirit. And I said, oh, okay. That's true. So true. And so I really had to look within myself at that moment. I let the video play and I'll probably play it again because I probably missed the whole next couple sentences because in my head I was like, this is true. This is what I did when I was younger. I really felt like looks were so important that his true characteristic traits or his true core values were not significant in my life. I really felt like I could live on something like that. Just a bunch of like fake promises and things like that that don't really matter because it doesn't carry any weight. It's not adding any value to my life. And I feel like both as men and women, we both do this. We both look for the hottest thing. We want is either it's the hottest clothes or jewelry or it's a person. And you hear people say, "Ooh, oh, they're so cute," or "They're attractive," or "Oh, wow, your girlfriend, boyfriend looks like this," and it makes you feel good because someone else notices how handsome or beautiful the person you're with is. But those are all superficial things. How does that person really truly make you feel in your spirit? This because in my spirit was at war with me my entire time because I picked someone based on the wrong thing. And and really, we really have to look within ourselves and see why are we so insecure that we feel like we have to be with someone based on just their looks and not their true core values or who they really are at their core or their reputation and their good reputation, like them being a nice human being. And so you have to really take a moment. When I was standing there listening to the sermon as I was going on my walk and everything, I really thought about how it could have truly been avoided. How had I looked for someone's core values instead of looking for a few commonalities and looks. Like that wasn't really what makes a successful, healthy relationship. That was just what makes your flesh feel satisfied for a second because you feel like, oh, I'm so attracted to this person or whatever else. And when I say lust, I feel like it's important to say this because not a lot of people know what the definition of lust is. But when I say lust, I mean when you see someone attractive and you're like, oh, wow, they're attractive, and you do a second look, lust. Or you get a thought in your head or whatever else. I mean, it could go further, but this is what I mean when I say lust. Or you're attracted to someone and it's specifically because of their physical attributes and not because of their personality or something like that. And you could be something else could make you something else could be lust be attractive as well, but that's not lust. And so whenever you hear me say lust, I'm just talking about being physically attracted to someone and doing a double take or or basing a relationship on or feeding your flesh is lust. And so so I really feel like, and I hope no one takes it the wrong way and starts judging me or anything like that. And I don't mean, I specifically looked for, lustful characteristics or anything like that. I'm just saying physically being attracted to someone seemed like that would be enough. And it really isn't. And so when you choose based on your flesh or lust, you really are just choosing something temporary. Because if you notice in those types of relationship, that person isn't usually kind to you, or you don't agree on things that are really important in your life, or or they feel as if you aren't as great as you really are. And it's because they're not the person for you in the first place. They can never see the vision that God has for your life because only a true person who is supposed to be attached to you within a covenant who is the one that God ordained for you. Or, there's more than one, but, and what I mean by that, and I hate, I mean, not hate, but I dislike that I have to break down everything. But I also think it helps people understand what I'm saying in each video, because I don't want anyone to ever take something, people will make their own take their own interpretation on things, because, perception is based on the person. So I understand that, but I also want to be as transparent as possible. I want to make sure that I'm elaborating on things and making sure that you understand what I mean when I say certain things, whether you agree or don't agree with it. And so hopefully I didn't lose my thought. But, and I did. But that's okay. Maybe it'll come back around or something like that. Having to explain the explanation just made me completely lose it in that moment. But it really is important to base a relationship, and that's even friendships or whatever, on more than just someone's appearance or physical attributes. It really should be someone at their core. And for me, like, I want to say this, but I don't want to say it and it to be like a dig at anyone. But when you start to change and you realize, when you start to look at relationships from a spiritual perspective instead of a physical perspective, it really makes you put into perspective your relationships. And it's funny because I have a friend who I have a friend who I totally misjudged in the beginning. And I'm not ashamed to say this, because I feel like sometimes we do prejudge people, even though, I'm saying I'm not a judgmental person, but for some reason, when I first met this person, I felt like I prejudged them. And I was thinking, this person's so attractive. They are probably like this, and this. And boy, was I wrong. And so the person ended up being like an actual nice human being. And I don't know why I said actual, like pretty people or attractive people or whatever. And just because I say this person is attractive doesn't mean every person is going to think this person is attractive. I'm just saying that I was thinking, oh, this person's attractive, they're not going to be a nice person. And I don't know why I felt that way. I really don't know why I prejudged this person at all, because I didn't even know them. And it was really unfair to their character. And I haven't told anyone this, so no one knows who this person is. And they don't even know who they are. And so, I mean, they know for sure who they are. I have never met someone who is so sure of themselves and so confident. And it's really inspirational, and it really does motivate me, because it's like, wow, people, when they look at this person, they literally look like, if you drew one of the most attractive people in the world, this is what this person would look like. And then when you get to know this person, they're smart. I mean, super smart. But I know that this person probably gets underestimated because he he or she is attractive. And so people are probably like, oh, well, I could just do this, and this. But literally sticks to their standards. And I'm going to say he or she because I don't want any of my new friends to know who this person is. But, and I'm not just talking about them in a bad way. I'm doing this to prove a point, because I feel like instead of us focusing on physical attributes or what it is that draws us to someone, we really need to look within at people's soul and figure out what type of person that person is that we're allowing in our life, so that our spirit isn't at war with us, where we feel restless because we're so busy fighting a battle that we're not even supposed to be fighting. And so let me just say the last characteristics. So this person is not only attractive, but humble, confident, and not arrogant, but confident. I mean, super intelligent, smart, and completely faith based. All about religion, making sure that they are staying to whatever it is that they promised God that they would do. And I mean, it's inspiring me because, like, I'm a baby Christian and stuff like that. So it's funny because we'll pick different stuff that we like, or not that we like in the Bible, that things that stand out to us. And I'll be reading through the Bible, doing like my normal day to day thing or whatever else. And we'll have a conversation or something. And then this person will say something like something in Proverbs that was like something about his words are like honey, sweet like honey, and wisdom to the soul, or something like that. And that's one of my favorite verses in the Bible. And and it's funny because like we'll be talking about like different parts of the Bible or whatever, like whatever motivates us and what like inspires us, or things like that we really want to do in life, and like what our goal is, or what we feel like would would be really important for us, or like what our future looks like, or whatever else. And I don't mean our, like, because we're friends, so stuff like that. But it's so funny because we will say the exact same thing, and it's so weird, but it's cool at the same time, because I would have never guessed that someone that looks like that, and even when I say it, it sounds so immature and judgmental and prejudgmental, when this person deserves so much more than that. It's so weird because I don't even know what came over me to make me even think that. But it's so cool that you really don't know what to expect. You don't know, you really just don't know what to expect when you meet people. And so the the moral of the story is treat everybody well, no matter who it is, whether they look good, look bad. I don't care if they look like something you stepped on and you walked across in the street. Like, literally treat everybody with love and kindness, no matter who it is, because they might surprise you. And you don't want to look crazy when you find out that the person really is a nice human being who really deserves respect. Like like I respect this person a lot. Like all of my friends, I respect all of my friends a lot because they've definitely earned my respect. They are good people. I mean, if they mess up, they're human. That's what happens. And so, but my friends are amazing. Like, God really hooked me up with a really, really great bunch of people. And I don't know how I got so blessed to have them in my life, but I'm not complaining at all. And I hope that He continues to move people into my life that are supposed to be in and out of my life, that are supposed to be people that are supposed to be there in, and people who aren't out. Like, I really hope and pray that I continue to use discernment so that I can make the best decision based on someone's spirit. Like, what does their spirit really look like? Are they really a kind person? Are they really nice to me? Are they really looking out for my well being? Are they really good people? Or are they not nice? Do they want to see me fail? Are they jealous of some of the things that I'm doing in my life? Like, things like that really do matter to me now more than appearance does. And and I hope you don't judge me too bad for my prejudgment on the other person, but I just, it's so weird. I don't want to share this because it might give away too much information. And if the person eventually watches this or something, I don't want them to feel a certain way about it. And I also don't want to make it seem like I'm taking a dig at anyone, because you can be beautiful and smart. You could be unattractive and not smart because you couldn't focus in school, or you could be unattractive and smart as well. Like, and then attractiveness is based on the person who is or isn't attracted to them in the first place. And all of my friends are beautiful. So I'm not saying anyone's unattractive at all. They all have like this thing about them that just makes them really shine. And and it's so cool because I feel like it's really something that God selected for my life. I don't feel like I had anything to do with it. They literally have grown with me in every area. and we might be doing different stuff. Why is the net back again? But we might be doing different stuff, but we always grow in certain areas, like with our perspective, with our mentality, with our dreams, or things like that. Like we might not all do the same things in when it comes to a job or a career or something like that. But when it comes to our perspective on things, like treating people kind and really living out our dream, or living in our purpose, or being a good person, we all align on that. And that's a really big core value that I feel like if you're in a friendship, you all should have. And I just realized something. I have some really great people in my life. And it's so funny because I couldn't have picked better people to be in my circle. And it's true, you really do have to protect everything that's in your life and guard your heart at all costs and really hold on to the people who cherish and appreciate you. I used to think it was so important uh, to want to appreciate people who never even gave me a second thought or never appreciated me at all. And now that I'm older and wiser, a little wiser, I don't want to put that much hype behind me because I'm still growing and learning. But and and I also along the way know now what's more important is looking inside at the people who are surrounding me, whether that be a friend or, someone that I allow in my space, someone who I consider a friend, or someone who I would consider a potential partner or a potential person. And I feel like I'm not even afraid to say a potential boyfriend, man, whatever you want to call it. But I really feel like I would worry so much about what it is that I need to do to keep people in my life. But now I know that God has control over all of that. And if I really do use the power of discernment and to decipher who really truly deserves to be a part of my life, who God intended to be a part of my life, then I won't have to worry about whether someone does or doesn't appreciate me, because they will be happy to be a part of my life and I'll be happy to be a part of theirs. It's just going to be a mutual edification. It's going to be a mutual relationship, and those are the only types of relationships I want in my life. I don't want to only give to one person. I want someone to give back to me as well. I want to make sure that who I surround myself with isn't isn't pulling me down or making me feel insecure or trying to make me feel less than what God intended me to be. I want the people surrounding me to lift me up, to be real with me. They don't have to, hang on my every word or kiss my behind. Sorry for my French, but but they do need to be real with me in a loving way, to let me know when I'm wrong. Let me know when, okay, I might think this, but this isn't how it really is. Or, I understand how you feel that way because of the things that you've been through, but this is wrong. Or maybe you should go at it with this approach. And not just in an overbearing way, but a really understanding, loving kind of way. And even when they see me trying to live in my destiny and be obedient to God, not just trying to tempt me or force me to go places that they know I can't handle. People who really are looking out for my well being. And I'm going to go ahead and close this out. But in conclusion, protect your spirit like your life depends on it. I know I stole that from that book that I read a long time ago that was love yourself like your life depends on it. But really, your life does depend on it. When I was worried about other people, I had panic attacks back in the day. Like, I really felt so much pressure on me because I was trying to do everything that God was supposed to be doing. No human can fill God's shoes. You just can't. And no wonder you feel so stressed out because you're worried about the wrong thing. You're worried about somebody liking you when you should already know if somebody likes you or they don't. And the people who are supposed to be in your life will be in your life. The people who aren't will be removed from your life. You literally don't have to worry about any of that. The only thing you have to worry about is sticking to your standards and making sure that the only thing that you accept in your life is what God intended for you to have in your life. The people who God allowed in my life are definitely supposed to be there. I couldn't have chose better people myself. This is obviously God. Because if I had picked, I would, who knows what would have happened. Like, it was a hot mess. So can you imagine me picking people in my life who were using me or, talking negatively towards me or trying to make me feel insecure or trying to make me jealous of certain things that they have in their life when what's for them is for them and what's for me is for me. So nobody can do us better than we can. So why why be jealous of someone else when that was never yours in the first place? That job, that person, that house, that car, that whatever it is, it's never intended to be yours at that moment. Maybe eventually you'll have a car exactly like that or house somewhere else that will be better or the same as that house. Or maybe eventually, instead of worrying about that guy with that girl, you need to worry about the guy who's actually for you, who's going to be compatible, who's equally yoked, is what I should say, so that I'm quoting the Bible. Someone who's actually equally yoked, who at their core has the same values as you, who really does see you as a person that you are, who really does respect you and honor you and appreciate you. And so don't let anybody come in and disturb your peace, no matter how fine they are, no matter how kind they may seem on the outside, because you don't know what they do behind closed doors or what God's protecting you from. They could be a perfectly normal person, but they might drive you crazy. It could be that the person that God has for you is going to actually do things that you didn't even know that you needed. They're going to fill in areas of your life that you didn't even feel like needed to be filled. But God just adds in just the right ingredients in your life. Like, it's so amazing how He does it. And when you think you got it figured out, the plans change. It's like you never be able to predict what God's gonna do. And I just think it's so amazing. I It's funny because I was the type of person who always wanted to know what the end is gonna look like. And every once in a while I get like that itch of I just want to know what's going to happen next, but no one knows what's going to happen next. So then I get over it because obviously I'm never going to know. So I just have to be along for the ride and just be faithful and have hope. And that's really all of us can do. What all of us can do is just be faithful, have hope, and be obedient and allow God to just clear the path for us and lead the way. Because there's nothing we can do about it anyways. We can try to be disobedient and live a miserable life and have things be harder on us for no reason when God intended for us to have other things in our life, or we can be obedient and have storms, but God being right there with us, giving us the answers so that we can pass it, giving us the answers so that we could make it through to the cleared storm. We can pass the test with flying colors. We can do everything it is that He intended for us to do in our lives. And in order for us to do that, we have to have a clear spirit.